people he doesn't respect. He does not have any ties to them anymore. He has other people in mind, which is really an interesting phenomena from somebody who goes into all that kind of a state. It's very, very interesting.
Okay, thank you very much for your insight, Wahid Borshan. We'll leave it there for now. Certainly, this instability in Libya rattling the markets. U.S. crude oil prices have now risen by more than $2 a barrel on this unrest in Libya. So a great deal of concern on the markets about this. Let's move on now to other news. And Yemen's president has just spoken in response to ongoing anti-government protests in that country. Demonstrators camped overnight outside Sana'a University. In the last hour, President Ali Abdullah Saleh said their demands for regime change are unacceptable.
The people of Yemen should use the right means of discussion. And if you convince us with your demands, then you'll get what you want.
Our correspondent Hashim Ahel-Bara has more from Sana'a.
Ali Abdullah Saleh has struck a very defined note, telling the protesters and the opposition that there's no way he will tolerate a regime change through rallies on the streets. But there is still room for reconciliation. He has invited the opposition for a live televised debate to find a way out of the crisis in Yemen. He told the opposition, why would you go to the US embassy or to the EU embassies to find a solution to the problem? You have to talk to me and let the people judge. Ali Abdullah Saleh is known for his own off-the-cuff characterizations of events in the world. He described the pro-democracy momentum as an influenza. He told the international media, you have a flu, you sneeze and everybody catches the flu. He doesn't seem to be willing at this particular moment to give further concessions to the opposition and to the protesters. He's been telling us that whenever he offers concessions, the opposition would raise the bar of demands, and that he is defiant and determined to maintain his position that only ballot box will have to decide the future of the country.
Now, turning to protests elsewhere in the region, anti-government demonstrators in Bahrain have spent another night camping in the capital, Manama. Hundreds of people slept at the Pearl roundabout after the government ordered the military to withdraw from the area. Reports from Sudan say the country's president, Omar al-Bashir, will not stand at the next elections. That's according to a senior official from the ruling National Congress party. The next presidential elections are due in 4 years' time. At least 28 people have been killed in a suicide attack in northern Afghanistan. 32 others were also wounded from the blast that took place outside a government building in the Kunduz province. Women and children were among the casualties. Many of them were reportedly queuing outside the office waiting to collect their ID cards. A drone strike in Pakistan's western tribal region has killed at least 7 people. Intelligence officials say at least 4 missiles were fired from unmanned US aircraft. They apparently targeted a training center believed to be used by fighters in South Waziristan. It's the first report of a drone attack in the area for about 4 weeks now. The sole surviving gunman of the Mumbai attacks in 2008 will face the death sentence. That's after an Indian court upheld a sentence to execute him last May. Mohammed Ajmal Amir Kasab was found guilty of taking part in the attacks which killed 166 people and injured more than 300 others. We'll have more on Libya in just a few minutes. We're hearing that a central government building is on fire in the capital, Tripoli. Stay with us.
Hello, we'll start by checking up on the progress of Tropical Cyclone Atu. It's a big storm. You can see its position here just to the south of the Solomon Islands now. Solomon Islands saw around 133 millimetres of rainfall in only 24 hours. This storm's got winds of around 220 kilometres per hour, gusting to around 270 kilometres per hour. We zoom in, you can see how it is making its way across Vanuatu, now heading towards New Caledonia, and it will continue to just sink its way further southwards into the cooler waters over the next couple of days. So we will start to see the intensity of the storm losing some effect over the next couple of days, but some very heavy rain will certainly be something that will continue. Heavy showers too, continuing across northern parts of Western Australia. Tropical cyclone Carlos has actually pepped up here, and that wet weather will sink its way down towards the west coast over the next day or two. Inland, a fair amount of showers as well, and we're seeing some very heavy rain just around New South Wales, pushing into southern parts of Queensland, and indeed northern areas of Queensland staying very disturbed too. Disturbed weather too across a good part of Southeast Asia, as per usual. Somewhat drier than it has been recently into Borneo, Kuching. Temperatures here at 29 Celsius, more in the way of sunshine. But we have got some wet weather once again making its way into the Malay Peninsula.
The times change. The instruments evolve. The battlegrounds shift.
This is America! Our country!
But the international struggle continues.
He was murdered!
Uncompromising, hard-hitting investigations.
I can't get no justice from no one in Jamaica.
People and power, at this time on Al Jazeera.
Welcome back. A reminder of our top story on Al Jazeera, and that's the unrest in Libya, which is now spreading to the capital, Tripoli. There are reports that the state TV station in Tripoli has been ransacked and that buildings are on fire. That's according to the AFP news agency. We spoke earlier to a protester in Benghazi, the second largest city, who told us that that city is now in protesters' hand, in control of that city, the protesters there, and that the security forces were nowhere to be seen. Now, all this comes just hours after the son of Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi appeared on state television warning of a civil war. And Saif al-Islam also said that his father would fight attempts to unseat him until, quote, the last man standing. Well, this unrest in Libya has markets rattled. The price of oil in the United States has risen to over $2 a barrel and stand now at $88.42 a barrel on fears of this political unrest in Libya. Well, let's speak more about this now to Richard Thompson. He's the editor of the Middle East Economic Digest, joins us live from Dubai. Thank you very much for speaking to us. So certainly a great deal of concern there in the oil industry about the events in Libya. How do you think this is going to affect oil prices? Are we likely to see an increase in the coming days if this unrest continues?
I think it's very difficult for people to make any decision or call with confidence about Libya. There's so little information that's accurate coming out of the country. And for investors, for traders in oil, for investors in Libya, for business people in Libya, uncertainty is the worst possible thing, and all it can do is push up commodities prices. It'll cause businesses and investors to pull out of the country and indeed the region.